Alrighty, hey there guys, Adrian DeCosta here at KJBro95 and coming at you guys with another video. So, as I mentioned before in the previous video, this is going to be the second video of this little mini thing. And we're going to be talking about players I would like to see back in Madden 24. This time we're going to be focusing on the NFC side. So we did the AFC last video, link to that video in the description below if you guys want to go watch it. Now this thread, again, as I mentioned in the last video, this video was based on a Twitter thread that I did about a week and a half ago. Some of the stuff is going to be changing, so if you guys, saw that thread, some of the stuff is going to change just because of the fact that some of these players were actually in the game, and I had no idea. Other players, I think, will be changing just because I think it might be better to have another player instead. But with that being said, let's get into the video, starting with the NFC North and the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to go ahead and say Donald Driver. I think a lot of people would like to see Donald Driver back, especially Packers fans. This one was a toss-up between him and Greg Jennings. Amon Green was another one that I wanted to throw in there. Al Harris was one I wanted to throw in as well for the Packers. But I decided to go with Driver just because I think for receivers for the Packers team has historically been pretty bad. For the most part, other than there were years outside of Devontae Adams for the Packers team was pretty mid, which I mean kind of was a reflection of real life, but also not really. But Donald Driver I think would be a nice addition for the Packers team. I haven't had him since Madden 21 if I'm not mistaken, so that would be nice. Now for the Bears, this one was kind of tough. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The Bears one was a little bit difficult. I thought of a few. But some of them were already in the game. Jay Cutler was one. Brandon Marshall was another. Ultimately, I think Matt Forte was a third, but I forgot he was a team diamond, actually. So for the Bears, I'm going to go with Jim McMahon, or whoever the quarterback was for the team that was on for their Bears championship team. I think it was Jim McMahon or Doug Flutie, one of the two. But Jim McMahon, if it is him, I don't think we've had him in MUT for ever. So bringing in a new legend would be kind of nice to see for them. And I think personally, giving Bears fans a quarterback that actually was somewhat good for them, other than maybe Justin Fields, is kind of nice. Because let's be honest, the Bears haven't really had many good quarterbacks since that championship team. Sorry to Bears fans, but it's true. Anyways, moving on to the Detroit Lions. I'm going to go with Lem Barney on this one. Now, a lot of the big name Lions players that we know, Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, they're already in the game. So why not go with Lem Barney, a guy that was in Madden 22, I believe, wasn't in Madden 23. I remember he got a Rising Star card in Madden 22, which just made the entire community go, But Lem Barney, solid corner I think he was a pretty damn good corner for them. But in terms of for Madden, he was a pretty solid corner, I remember. And I think it'd be nice to have Lem Barney back as another DB for the Lions team. Vikings, I'm going to go with Jared Allen. I don't understand how we don't have Jared Allen in the game. One of the most underrated pass rushers of the 2000s. Jared Allen was an incredible force on that defensive line for the Vikings that should have went to the Super Bowl in 2009. But we all know what happened because, yeah. But in terms of Jared Allen, was a really great player. Definitely somebody that was, somebody that should be in the game. I don't know why he's not personally, but I hope you guys are trying to get what I'm saying, because I'm literally losing my brain here, because, the last few days have been 30 plus degrees Celsius here. And, after all that hot heat, I'm just kind of losing my mind here. So, yeah. Now moving on to the NFC East, we're going to start with the Dallas Cowboys. I want Troy Aikman. Why is Troy Aikman not in the game? It'd be nice to have the 90s triplets with the Cowboys, with Aikman, Irvin, and Emmitt Smith. They already have Smith and Irvin, so why not have Troy Aikman? And the thing is, you probably could get him, because he's actively covering the NFL. You probably could give him a little bit of extra money and get him in the game. He was in Madden 20, so it'd be nice to have Troy Aikman back. Just saying. Now, moving on to the Eagles, I put down Donovan McNabb. Now, I had not been aware that McNabb is actually in Madden 23. I did not realize he was, so I'm going to take that one and change that. This one for the Eagles, I'm actually going to put a player that you may have forgotten about, Brian Westbrook. Brian Westbrook was a really great running back for the Eagles during those years where they were consistently making NFC Championship game appearances, and a player that a lot of people don't really talk about in terms of great Eagles players ever. So ultimately, I think Brian Westbrook would be really nice. The next one, if you're not really satisfied with Brian Westbrook, I think Terrell Owens would also be a really, really good pick for them. But I don't know how I don't know what EA is really doing with Terrell Owens. Like, I don't know what his deal is with them. If he wants to be in the game for an above average price, then as far as I'm concerned, sign him. Now, Giants is another one that I had no idea was in the game. Justin Tuck. I had no idea he was in the game. So I'm actually going to change Justin Tuck to Eli Manning. I don't know, like, it'd be nice to have Eli again. Haven't had him since he retired in 2020. We've had his brother, Peyton. It'd be nice to have be nice to have Eli back in the game. Giants fans, I think, would be very stoked to play with Eli again, especially Giants teamers, because, that could be a lot of fun playing with Eli once again. And then in terms of Commanders, I'm going to go with LaRon Landry. Now, I remember this card in Madden 22 was a pretty damn good safety overall for the Commanders theme team. And so I think it would be fun to have LaRon Landry back in the game. He's not the biggest defensive back by any means, being only 6 foot tall, but he definitely is somebody that I think a lot of people, especially Commanders and Jets fans, would like to have back. Pardon me. Now for the NFC South, starting with the Carolina Panthers, Luke Kuechly. This one was pretty obvious for me. I would like, same with Andrew Luck, I would like to have Luke Kuechly back. Probably the best linebacker of the 2010s, other than maybe Bobby Wagner. Luke Kuechly, really great player. Actually, it just hit me. Luke Kuechly's in the game already. I completely forgot Luke Kuechly's in the game. So I'm going to have to change that. All right, fine. So for the Panthers, guys, I'm going to go with Ryan Khalil. Ryan Khalil, center for them. Don't really have many offensive linemen, so I decided to go with him. But Ryan Khalil, their center for like a long time. He was very there for a long time, and I think it would be nice to have Ryan Khalil for the offensive line for the Panthers. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I completely forgot Luke Kuechly was in the game. He had a card, and it just hit me, so I just came up with a random name on the spot. So I apologize for that. So for the Saints, Reggie Bush. This one was obvious. A lot of people love Reggie Bush cards as a dual threat running back, being able to run and catch out of the backfield. Yeah, I think a lot of people love Reggie Bush. Last year, he was really, really good overall. I don't know what else to say other than that. For the Bucks, Brad Johnson. For those of you that do not know, Brad Johnson was their Super Bowl, the team's quarterback when they won their Super Bowl in 2002 behind one of the greatest defenses to have ever existed in the 2002 Buccaneers. But Brad Johnson was a pretty good quarterback for them overall. Didn't really have to do much with that defense. But that being said, he's still, I think, is somebody that I think should be in the game. And it would be nice to have, more great players that play, like more recognizable names that played for that franchise. Now for the Falcons, this one was tough. This one was really tough as well. I could have went with Algie Crumpler was one that I know, I think TJ would have absolutely loved to have Algie Crumpler in Madden. D'Angelo Hall is already in the game. Michael Vick, we already know, is in the game. Warren Dunn is as well. So I'm going to go with Billy White Shoes Johnson, a small receiver, yes, but make no mistake, Billy Johnson was a pretty good card in Madden 22 again, man. And even during his time in the 80s or something like that, I can't remember when he was when his career was. He was still pretty good. He was still a pretty good player. Billy Johnson, really good player overall. I don't know really much else to say other than that. Now for the NFC West, so starting with the San Francisco 49ers, Navarro Bowman, one of the most underrated linebackers of the 2010s. I loved watching Navarro Bowman play behind Patrick Willis. I think he was a player that not many people really talk about in those Niners years with Jim Harbaugh. Not many people talk about how good Bowman was. I would like to see Bowman back in the game. I think he's a big linebacker too, at 6'2", which I know a lot of people don't really like linebackers anymore, but for someone that still does use them, having a 6'2" user is pretty solid once you have that lurker ability on them. Now, Rams, Isaac Bruce. Why is he not in the game anymore? He was in Madden 22, but he's not in Madden 23. I don't understand why they bring back players for like 1 year and then they're done. Like, keep them in the game for longer than a year. That's all I got to say about that. Now for my Seahawks, I originally had Steve Largent. Now, that one you can stick with if you want. However, this is my list. I want KJ Wright. I would like to see KJ Wright back in Madden 24. Now I know he retired in Madden 22, and they've normally, from what I have noticed in my time playing MUT, when a player retires, they usually wait until a year after they retire. Like, say for example, like they retire in 22, then they wait until 24 to approach them and say, "Hey, do you want to be in the next Madden game as a legend?" So KJ Wright, I would love to have my KJ Wright for my Legion of Boom Seahawks. And him being 6'4" over the middle of the field would be nice. Honestly, I think it would be pretty fun to have KJ Wright back in the game. But if you guys want to have Steve Largent, because that is another one I have been wanting for a long ass time as well, Steve Largent would also be pretty sweet. And then finally for the Cardinals, Pat Tillman, probably the most feared MUT master to have ever existed, especially once he unlocked Enforcer. I think Pat Tillman is a card that a lot of people would love to have back as a user, as long as he probably has like 0 or 1 AP Enforcer, depending on the time of the year. But the free Enforcer would be nice overall, and I think Pat Tillman would be really good as part of like a flashbacks to previous MUT cards. You know, like here's old MUT Master Pat Tillman go nuts. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Hope you all did enjoy this video. If you guys did, let me know in the comment section below, and hit the like button if you guys did enjoy. Also, let me know, guys, what do you guys want to see for Madden 24 Legends? It can be anybody you desire. Let me know. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.